Hello, welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to Cornwall, welcome back to spring, and welcome back to the car. The car which is still having a few problems after the windshield got replaced. You see, LDA turns on, lane departure assist turns on, but only after we've gone over the lines in the road. And that shouldn't happen. It should detect that we are about to leave the lane and then tighten the steering wheel up and do a bunch of things to stop us from leaving the lane. But it does not. It gets very confused very quickly, and if you change the sensitivity up, then it beeps all the time, but it still doesn't tension the steering wheel, and I'm not entirely sure about that. So yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things where Toyota has to have a little look at my car next time it's in for a service. But otherwise, the car is working well. I mean, I cleaned it yesterday, gave it a good old clean, waxed and polished it, and then came out this morning and was like, insects appear to have pooed on it, which is what happens when you leave your car out with Mother Nature. Insects will find a way. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. You may have noticed a few things. See, it does it now. But it shouldn't do the... whatever. Yeah, you may have noticed a few things. On Friday, there was no video because I got home from work and I was just like, I'm a bit of a tired boy. So I went into the bedroom, fell face first on the bed, and then fell asleep for like an hour. Why? I don't know. I didn't feel tired until I was face down, and I was just like, oh, well, cool. Just have a little sleep then. It's the human getting in the way of the videos. A very strange thing. But even stranger than that was Friday had more views than normal. In fact, Friday and Saturday, just over 2 days, had half as many views as basically half a month's worth of views. So 2 days, 1/2 month's worth of views. Why? That's a lot of views over 2 days when only one video went out, and that was Little Hope. And the thing about Little Hope, while it is a very good series, I really do enjoy playing the supermassive horror games. That video didn't get that many views. They don't. They sort of sit there for a while because they're very long videos. They're videos that happen over an hour or an hour and a half. So people might look at it and go, ooh, there's a video I want to watch, and then watch it later when they have the time to do it. But YouTube was like, you've had a few hundred views here, my dude. In fact, quite a few hundred views. I was like, okay, right, where, what videos, who are these people, and where did they come, how did they get to the channel, why are they here? And YouTube's like, lol, we don't know. What do you mean you don't know? YouTube's just like, I don't know. Right, cool, so I'm just gonna have to dig through the archives and see what's going on. I have a sneaky suspicion it's probably Stranded Deep, because Stranded Deep videos have been strangely popular recently. Why have they been popular? I think... Oh yeah, if you're watching this and you're just like, hey, what's Stranded Deep? What's going on? Okay, so this is predominantly a video gaming channel, and Stranded Deep is a video game that we play. We've done 600 and something episodes. They're half an hour each. And originally it was on early access on the... let's see if we can give this lad plenty of space. He's probably going to be upset that we went past him anyway, but whatever. Yeah, so Stranded Deep, half-hour episodes, and it's a playthrough. It's a playthrough that we've been doing since 2016. We've been doing it for a long old time, and recently the game was released on consoles, and a lot of people are like, oh, let's look up videos on YouTube. There are a couple of problems with that. First of all, I'm not entirely sure what people are expecting to see when they look at the videos, because in previous times what we've done is we've released a video and just talked. It's more, I don't know if it's more of a let's say vlog. No, this is a vlog. More of a podcast. More of a rudderless podcast where we just talk about random stuff while playing the game. And some people find that amusing and some people absolutely do not. I can tell you for a fact that some people do not find that amusing. Some people will thumbs down a video and leave a comment saying, "Oh, you did not talk about the thing that I wanted you to talk about." It's like, this is not a tutorial. It's not flagged as a tutorial. It is flagged as a playthrough, my dudes. Or in some instances, not my dudes. Ya pylon. Ya pylon, what were you expecting for a half-hour video? 600 half-hour videos does not a tutorial make. So yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm not entirely sure what's going on or why people are looking at them. I don't think it's just for us talking, which is what most people are here for, I think. So, I don't know. I'm nonplussed to say the least. But it is like a weird insight into what can happen if the channel gets bigger. It's just a case of drifting away from the viewer, not knowing what the viewers really want, and then just having to put videos out based on what people are actually watching, which is a strange way of going about things. The information that you get on the back end is very neutral. Where the hecking heckarinos are we? I think we go right and we check. I think we're okay, and we go left. Right. Yeah, so right this way. So I'm not sure if I like that, because what's happened in the past is we've had very low viewership in terms of views on videos, but in terms of getting to know the viewers, getting to know you guys, the people who comment, I find that fascinating. That's the bit that I like. The making videos and stuff is just, it's just the thing that happens. But when you guys comment and when you guys talk about where you live, like when we had all the snow, everyone in North America was like, yeah, I was down the bottom of a well trying to unfreeze some well equipment. It's like, oh God, right. Or I parked my car with the nose next to the house so the engine block doesn't freeze. That's stuff that I wouldn't have ever thought about, because we don't have that in the United Kingdom. And those interactions, that's what's really important to me. Why did the LDA not go off? I don't know. Those interactions are what's really important to me. So it's like, ugh, there's an old platform there. I've never looked in that direction. There's an old platform on the other side. We'll talk about that in a moment. So yeah, that's what's important. You guys watching this, and it's going to be less than the people who watch Stranded Deep. You guys are the important ones, and your comments are important, and just stuff you're doing at home and in your daily lives. That's fascinating. That's the bit that I do this for. So I'm just kind of, I'm puzzled, but also slightly worried that if the channel does get big, if the channel does start getting thousands of views, we'd miss out on that. Miss out on like seeing you guys as individuals. I mean, I wouldn't ever go, I'm big now, I'll put on my big Hollywood sunglasses and just leave you guys for whatever. No, there's still, I will still make videos with you guys in mind. All the people who've been around for quite some time, quite some years, and whose names are pop up quite often in the comments. Yeah. No, that station is, sorry, that station, seeing a station platform has really just, so if you didn't know, okay, so the channel's getting more views and I don't know why. We'll switch to something else now. If you didn't know, in the UK we have, or at least had, a lot of railways. There used to be branch lines all over the place. Every town and city had a railway. Almost every town and city. Some people didn't want the railways to come through their town. Notably, there's a town in Oxfordshire called Abingdon. And Abingdon had a branch line, but the good people of Abingdon did not want the main line to come through the town. They were absolutely adamant when the railways were being built. We don't want the main line coming through our town. So what happened was they had a branch line put in, but only because Morris Garages, MG, had a factory in the town of Abingdon, and they needed to get the MGB. So the MGB and the MGB GT were built in Abingdon. So there was a branch line with a station with a very strange platform that allowed you to drive cars directly onto a low loader, onto like a car transporter. When Morris Garages closed, the station remained for a bit, but ultimately that was removed and the line was removed as well. That's just Abingdon. For everywhere else, there were other platforms and other stations, little tiny stations, little tiny platforms all over the place. But they didn't necessarily get a lot of traffic, and not a lot of people were using them, but the people who used them, they were really a lifeline for the community in a time before roads were really roads. I mean, you get roads like this, sure, but even this is quite wide for even that era. But during the last century, during the 20th century, Dr. Beeching went through the railway network and said, look, we don't need all of these branch lines, we don't even need all of these stations, so why don't we just close them all, which makes the rail network more efficient and saves a bunch of money. Whenever you get someone saying, let's do this to save a bunch of money, you also get, well, it causes more problems quite often. So that little platform there would have served those houses that we went past, the little hamlet that we went through, and the villages around, because that's the main line, that's the Cornish Riviera that we drove over. But chances are, at the time, though that platform might not have had a high number of people servicing it or using it, so the Beeching Act would have just been like, right, well, strike that as a station, leave the platform because it's more expensive to try and just dig up an entire platform. And in the UK, the platform is raised to the level of the doors of the carriages. I think in America, the platforms on railway stations are quite low, and so you have to climb up into the carriages. In the UK, you just step onto the train. But they removed all the station buildings and everything. So yeah, to see that is just a reminder of how badly those stations are actually needed these days, because that would serve not only the village but also the holiday parks around there, and would be quite a useful stop on a main line. You don't even need the main trains, the intercity trains, to service it. You can use the little local hoppers to service it, but yeah, the Beeching Act, that really just messed up quite a large portion of the UK rail network, which, yeah, to this day, people are kind of regretting and even talking about reopening sections of line, or even reinstituting old branch lines. So, yeah, I gather in America there's only really like two main east-west lines. One that goes through, I think, Ohio, through New York State, and I think part of it ends up in Boston, part of it ends up in New York City, and I think some of it ends up in Chicago, but my knowledge of like North America is kind of sketchy, and I think there's a canal that goes from New York State to the Great Lakes as well, but I'm not sure. So anyway, yeah, channel's doing well, had a little sleep, lots of viewers, don't know where they're coming from, hello if you're watching this, but yeah, ultimately I like listening to your comments and listening to your daily lives, things that you're doing that seem innocuous to you but are in fact interesting to everyone in the rest of the world, because we're not where you are. Good. Oh, and the British railway system's a mess, but we all knew that anyway. I might leave it there for the time being. So if you like these little vlogs, definitely leave a like, leave a subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. If you do subscribe, dingle the bingle. If you don't want notifications, don't click the bell. For anyone who's donated on Coffee, thank you once again. Obviously put yourself first in terms of donations. And if you have a comment about your day and just what you're doing, leave it below. And I tell you what, I'll catch you next time.